Welcome to Special Edition Education Matters. This is part of our 8th grade dialogue series where we talk to 8th graders about their experience in school during the pandemic with their teachers. Right now, we're going to be with some students from Monmouth County. So I'm going to have them introduce themselves after that first question. This year, if you're in 7th or 8th grade, your 7th and 8th grade year has been unlike a lot of 7th and 8th graders because you had the pandemic to deal with. You weren't always in school. Things changed in a dime and halfway through your 7th grade year. So what are some lessons that you learned, positive or negative, things that you took out of your experience there? So we're going to start with Peyton.
Hi, I'm Peyton Smith. I go to Bayshore Middle School in Leonardo, New Jersey. I would say that the most difficult adjustment with COVID for me was going in and out of school all the time, whether it was like being in quarantine or with hybrid learning. And also that when I was in school, I was socially distanced from a lot of people, so it was hard to socialize.
Yeah, B.
Hi, so my name is Beatrice Sunoco. You can call me Bia. And I go to Thompson Middle School, which is in Middletown, New Jersey on the south side. And the most difficult adjustment was definitely learning from like Google Meets and Zoom calls. I found that it was actually really hard for me to focus and to stay on task while the teachers are trying to teach. And the most positive thing that I learned is like how to adjust to different environments. And over the last 2 years, online learning has taught me that life is never going to be easy and that we need to adjust and make the most of our situation.
Okay, Helene.
Hi, I'm Helena Zepp. I go to Thorne Middle School in Middletown. I think the most difficult part of COVID during my middle school years was definitely having to adjust to having little to no socialization other than being on calls with friends or Google Meets. And then during 8th grade, I had to completely transfer from having no socialization to being able to have these opportunities, and I was very hesitant to. However, something positive that I've learned is the process of adjusting from having some resources to having others, or having a lack of resources, and adapting to different environments.
Todd.
Hi, I'm Todd Vitalis. I'm from Wall Intermediate, and I feel like one of the most difficult things for me to adjust to when I was on virtual learning was Google Classroom, because it was very hard for me to maintain my work and to stay on top of my assignments. And it was very difficult for me to be present on meets because it felt like I wasn't there. It felt like I was on like just a computer, and so it was very easy for me to get distracted. But one positive I managed to take away from this is that I feel like I matured very quickly, and I learned that I'm an empath and I'm able to help people that are in need.
Tanaya.
Hi, I'm Tanaya Gordon. My name is Tanaya, and I go to Netsu Middle School. And one of the things that are really hard for me in 7th and 8th grade is just to socialize. And back to like what everybody else was saying, it's just really hard to transition from one going to school and having friends to just being online and then having to transition back to going to school again. It's a lot to handle.
Jackson. You have to unmute. You're muted, Jackson.
Sorry, I was pressing the button. Similar to what Helene said, I think it was the switching between like now you're all virtual, now you're hybrid, now you're in person, but you're back to virtual, like kind of create a lot of confusion. It was hard to get into a rhythm of going to school. The big positive I would say is learning independence. Like there was no teacher behind your back to like tell you this is good, this is bad, and there's no friends to like ask like how did you do this or how did you do that. You were kind of on your own.
That's great. Joshua.
Hi, I'm Joshua Calixte, and I'm from Ocean Township Intermediate School. I think the most difficult adjustment throughout these difficult times was like remote learning, because I can get the experience of face to face with my teachers or friends, and it was harder to focus because all the distractions around me. And that really made it difficult for me to keep on top of my work and actually like pay attention to the lesson. But the most positive lesson I learned from all of that is that all of my teachers are there for me, and they're still trying their best to help me and not just completely forgetting about me.
Okay, we talked about your experience a lot, and I think even Joshua said the teachers were there for him, and teachers had to adjust. What is the one educator, teacher, or staff member who maybe had the biggest impact on your education? Peyton.
So there were many teachers in my educational career so far who have stood out to me, but I would say that the teachers that had the most impact on me were my three fifth grade teachers, because going into middle school, I was really nervous about how different it would be from elementary school. But after coming out of fifth grade, I felt really prepared, and that I learned many lessons about goal setting and the importance of organization. And then also another one of my teachers that has had an impact on me is my current ELA teacher, Miss Gersitz, because she really cares about her students, not only me, but all her students on a personal level, and is very motivational.
Great. Bia, what about your experience?
Uh, so that would have to be my math teacher, Mr. Dooley. I have him this year. At the beginning of the year, I wasn't doing so well in math, and it's never really been my strength. And I was actually extremely nervous to talk to him because he looked very intimidating. But then when I talked to him, he explained to me that it was okay to struggle, and he made me feel really comfortable in his class. And he has helped me overcome my test anxiety and has made math a more enjoyable subject.
Great. Helene?
This question is rather tough for me since a lot of different staff members and teachers have impacted me really positively during my education career. But if I had to choose, I would definitely say my ELA teacher of last year during 7th grade, who wasn't only my ELA teacher, but also my track coach. And her teaching style, attitude, and the way she got me engaged in my lessons were really helpful. And she helped me get a more positive outlook in literature and just my educational horizons in general.
Great. Todd?
One of the teachers that impacted me was definitely my 7th grade ELA teacher from last year. Even with COVID and even with virtual, she still managed to engage us in group projects and made us all feel less isolated, because she would start discussions about the book that we were reading as a class, or she would make us do group projects like for another book I read. And honestly, she was one of the most positive and kind people I've ever met. And yeah, that's all I really have to say.
Well, that's good stuff to say. So, Tanaya, what about you?
My favorite teacher would be my math teacher this year, Mr. Snyder. He's really helped me to improve in different ways because, to be honest, I'm not really a big fan of math because math is kind of a struggle for me. But Mr. Snyder's really helped me engage and learn in math.
Oh, okay. And what about you, Jackson?
Kind of sounds crazy, but I think my first to third science teacher, Mr. Yee, really sparked the creativity in me. I remember he did things like beetle races and balloon planes, and it really like made me enjoy learning, want to learn more.
Okay, Joshua, what about you?
I've had multiple teachers, and I couldn't really say I could really choose because all of my teachers impacted my education like different ways, and they've all had their unique style to further benefit me. They all put their dedication to my peers and I've been taught multiple ideas and processes from all of them, and that's where that got me today, and I'm thankful for that.
Okay, thank you. So what's I'm gonna ask your advice, but if your principal or the school superintendent came up to you and said, what do you think is one thing we could do in our school that would improve the educational experience for most students? Peyton, what would you say?
The answer that I would say to this question would be for school to start at a later time because in middle school, teenagers, their sleep is really important to them. And I know that a lot of teenagers also lack this sleep. So having more sleep at night and having school start later could potentially lead to a better education and help students to focus more.
Bia?
I would suggest that my school would create more spacious classrooms because for me personally, I work better in places where I have more of my personal space, and I'm sure many people would agree.
Okay, Helene, what about you?
So I would probably suggest more communication between teachers when referring to the assignments or tests, because I feel as though although teachers don't necessarily in my school give out that much work if it was just their class, some days teachers don't communicate well enough and they all give really medium assignments on the same day, and they pile up and snowball to create a bigger amount of time that I have to spend during my day just devoted to this work.
Oh, okay. It's a good homework policy, I guess. Todd, what about you?
Okay, so my school used this program called iReady. I don't know if it's a government thing or not, but I don't think that it's really efficient for the school to be using it because I've noticed that I could think of much more efficient ways that we could learn all of our subjects instead of having to look at a screen and watch a video and then take a quiz. I think that we could like maybe do something where the students could be doing independent work or maybe some classwork and the teacher could maybe pull individual students and like try to help them with whatever they're struggling with.
Okay, Tanaya, what about you?
I would say most definitely for my school at least, because we do a lot of work and the teachers do help us affectionately. I would definitely say like more field trips because this year or even last year, just because of COVID, we
Tanaya, could you speak up a little bit louder because the camera
sorry.
wasn't picking.
I said more field trips because it's definitely more. We need more field trips in the school because even though all our teachers been helping us and everything, I feel like we haven't been able to go out and to go to more places to learn more things, like a museum, for example, or anything else like that.
Jackson, what about you?
I would want to incorporate more like students teaching students, whether it be like the same age or younger. I think when students teach like other students, the kid's learning information from the one that's teaching, and the person teaching is also kind of strengthening their grasp on that concept. And I think both parties kind of benefit from it.
And Joshua?
I feel like my school should add more electives that have like outside knowledge, not just the only five basic subjects. We should just have more electives in general that helps us know more about the outside world.
All right, you're all going to be graduating pretty soon, a few months, going to high school. What are your plans in high school and maybe beyond? Do you have a type of college or field of study that you're even thinking of now, or even a career? So, Peyton, we'll start off with you again.
So in high school, I'm really looking forward to meeting new people, and being involved with clubs and sports. And after that, I hope to go to college and potentially travel.
Okay, Bia, what about you?
So I ever since I was in fifth grade, I've been wanting to become a journalist. So I'm actually really excited to pursue more of a language arts route when I get to high school. And I'm also bilingual, so I really enjoy learning about languages, and I've always had a passion for it. So I'm really excited to pursue that in high school and maybe later in college.
Helene, what about you?
So I'm mostly looking forward to the flowering opportunities, people, ideas, and diverse environment that I'll be exposed to, because I feel as though during my 3 years of middle school, I've gotten really familiar with the situation I'm in, as well as the people, and transferring to high school where I'll be exposed to so many new ideas and opportunities. I feel like that'll be a really good situation for me to be in. And I'm a little bit nervous about that in itself, being exposed to so many new things and having to adapt to a new situation.
Okay, Todd?
What I'm very excited for is the amount of electives that our school has to offer, and I feel like I have much more freedom there. And I'm really excited to meet new teachers, but the one thing I'm nervous about is going into a totally different environment. And but no, I'm sorry. And something I want to pursue in the future though is maybe becoming a therapist or even a journalist or maybe even like a TV anchor because our school has TV communications, which we can use to basically run our own morning show.
Oh, that's great. Maybe you can do this for me next year. Tanaya?
Well, in high school, I feel like I'm gonna be most nervous about definitely meeting new people and taking on new challenges. The positives are though that still I'm gonna meet new people and have more friends, expand my friend group, and in the future, I do want to become a doctor. I want to become a child doctor, pediatrician, because I am taking early college classes to get to that.
Great. Jackson.
I'm excited for high school because I really want to learn about the things I care about, like more than others, I guess, through electives and clubs and stuff like that. Uh, when I do graduate high school, I kind of want to have left something that'll outlive me there, whether it be like a club or a group, but something that I started that will stay with the high school.
Great idea. Joshua, what about you?
In high school, academically speaking, I'm excited for like the new challenges of the unique courses that they're going to be providing, such as finance and mock trials. And extracurricular wise, I'm excited for the different types of clubs that I can join and how it broadens my experience. And I like to wrestle, so I'm going to be wrestling for the varsity team as a freshman. And I'm nervous about maybe not being able to keep up with these high level courses and struggling to find out what my true passion is. And beyond high school, I hope to be accepted into a D1 school.
Good for you. Okay, that brings us to the end of this conversation with the eighth graders in Monmouth County. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I think their insights are great. I look forward to their great futures down the road. So thank you.